Hi YouTube, I'm Tim and welcome to part 4 of my DVD and Blu-ray update for January 2019. I only have one new disc to show off, so right behind me is a bunch of DVDs and a Blu-ray of some of my comedy movies that I have in my DVD and Blu-ray collection that I'm gonna go through after I show off one new disc I have, and it's Blue Underground release. It's 70s European art horror movie that's a little bit erotic. Baba Yaga. It's also called Kiss Me, Kill Me, and it's called Devil Witch. And what we have on the back of the case. Baba Yaga, the psychedelic shocker based on the erotic comics of Guido Crepax. Legendary sex symbol Carol Baker, Baby Doll, and the sweet body of Deborah stars as a mysterious sorceress with an undying hunger for sensual ecstasy and unspeakable torture. But when she casts a spell over a beautiful young fashion photographer, the gorgeous Isabel de Funes, Milan's most luscious models are sucked into a nightmare world of lesbian seduction and shocking sadism. Are these carnal crimes the result of one woman's forbidden fantasies, or is this the depraved curse of the devil witch known as Baba Yaga? George Eastman, the Grim Reaper, co-stars in this provocative Euro shocker, also known as Devil Witch and Kiss Me, Kill Me, written and directed by Corrado Farina and based on the notorious S&M comic Valentina by Guido Crepax. Blue Underground is now proud to present Baba Yaga restored from pristine vault materials and packed with eye-popping extras, including never-before-seen erotic outtakes from the Italian censor's archives as well as the director's own private collection. Extras, theatrical trailer, deleted and censored scenes, poster and still gallery, Farina and Valentina interview with director Corrado Farina, Freud in color, Guido Crepax documentary, and comic book to film comparison DVD-ROM. And let's see, it's color 1973, 83 minutes, widescreen 1.85, and it's 16 by 9, so it's enhanced, and it's not rated, it's region 0, and mono audio. But if this did have a rating, it would either be R or X. This gets really naughty. There's boobs and it's sexed up. And there's some violence, so this was the only new one I had. It's one I got from bestbuy.com. It told me I would have it by Tuesday, then they said by Saturday, but it came Thursday afternoon. Yeah, I believe it was Thursday afternoon, late Thursday afternoon, it came in the mail. So, Baba Yaga. And Psychotronic Video Guide calls this one unique. So, that's all I had for part 4 of my DVD and Blu-ray update for January 2019. So now I'm going to go into some of the DVDs and a Blu-ray I own my collection that are comedy movies. So first up is the 70s disco comedy movie, Thank God It's Friday, starring Donna Summer and Jeff Goldblum. This is one that Sony put out. Originally put out by Columbia Pictures, but now Columbia Pictures is Sony. Thank God it's Friday. TGIF. And then one I showed off recently, Kino Lorber Studio Classics DVD, the 1979 comedy, Scavenger Hunt. And then the Three Stooges movie collection has 5 movies. Have Rocket Will Travel from 1959, The Three Stooges Meet Hercules from 1962, Three Stooges in Orbit from 1962, then Three Stooges Go Around the World in a Daze from 1963, and then the Western comedy The Outlaws Is Coming from 1965. This is the set that Umbrella Entertainment put out, their Australian DVD and BluRay label. And even though this is listed as Region 4 locked, it played on my computer, so it should play in my BluRay player as well. And then another Sony Columbia Pictures title. It's a manufactured on-demand disc from the Sony Pictures Choice Collection, the 1976 comedy Drive-In. It's filmed in Texas, and this takes place at a drive-in in Texas in 1976. And then the 80s teen comedy from Mad Magazine, Up the Academy. As a young Ralph Macchio, as this Arabian sheik's son is one of a handful of teenage boys that get into trouble, so they're sent to military school. And then a 70s comedy starring Mark Hamill from Star Wars, and it stars Annie Potts, Corvette Summer. It's Warner Archive. In fact, this is Warner Archive, so these are manufactured on-demand DVD-Rs, but usually the picture quality is pretty good. Up the Academy, and Corvette Summer, and then one more Warner Archive. I've got a bunch of stuff here. 60s coming of age comedy, I Love You, Alice P. Toklas, starring Peter Sellers, and it also stars Lee Taylor Young, who would later star in Soylent Green. And she would also star in Looker. She did some mainstream movies too. And then the Night Flight cult classic comedy, underground cult classic, J-Men Forever. And this is a bunch of old Movie Republic cliffhanger movie serials that were recut into a feature-length movie and were redubbed. So J-Men Forever. And then a teen comedy, Roger Corman produced, School Spirit, where we have a teenage boy who dies in a car collision and then he comes back as a ghost. I believe Shout Factory TV is streaming this movie now that they've bought up the Corman library. And another Warner Archive release is a college sex comedy, Sex Kittens Go to College, and this is the extended international version. So this has this little naughty burlesque bit tacked on to the end. So this is a long one, it's 103 minutes, so had it been 17 minutes longer, it would have been full 2 hours. So it's got Mamie Van Doren, Tuesday Weld, and Maija New Bardot, who is Bridget Bardot's little sister. And then we've got Conway Twitty, Jackie Coogan, John Carradine, and Vampira. So Sex Kittens Go to College. And then another cult comedy, it's one that Frank Zappa made. It was shot on videotape, but transferred to film. 200 Motels. And stars the Mothers of Invention and Ringo Starr and Theodore Beichel. It's from the 70s, and it's early 70s, 100 minutes long. And I think Frank Zappa does show up on screen, besides just producing this and providing some of his music. So 200 Motels, and then I've got the Blu-ray of this somewhere. Don't ask me where it is. I thought I opened this up. Well, I know I opened up the Blu-ray because it was loose. The case broke. It's Olive Films' DVD release of Caveman, starring Ringo Starr, Barbara Bach, Dennis Quaid, and Shelley Long. And I believe this is the one that led to the marriage of Barbara Bach and Ringo Starr. They got married sometime after this, or maybe they married during filming. So, Olive Films release from MGM. And then another Sony Columbia Pictures DVD-R teen sex comedy Spring Break, with the emphasis on the sex, because this is R-rated. And then when I also have Blu-ray, this somewhere, Gorp. This is from MGM, originally put out by American International Pictures. So this is one teen sex comedy that takes place at a summer camp. and it features a young Fran Drescher from TV's The Nanny is in this. And then one that's never been out on Blu-ray, but it had a DVD release. It did have a DVD release via Starz, Anchor Bay, HOTS. And 3 of the 4 leading ladies in this were in Playboy, and one of them, well, 2 of the girls also did some porn, the hardcore porn. This is rated R, 98 minutes, and it's widescreen, 1.85 enhanced for 16:9 TVs. It also features Danny Bonaducci after he did Partridge Family. So it's college erotic sex comedy, very sexed up. But even though it makes a lot of jokes that involve sex, it doesn't rely entirely on eroticism. So HOTS. And there's a whole bunch of jokes onto what HOTS means, but it's the initials of the first names of the girls. Well, Honey Shane, and then there's O'Hara is the last name of the O, and then T for Terry Lynn, and then S for Sam, Samantha. So it doesn't mean helping out the SEALs or hold on to sex. It's just the initials of the 4 girls' names. The 4 main girls. So HOTS. And then another Warner Archive release. This has had a Blu-ray, but I haven't watched this disc yet. 60s college girl comedy, Where the Boys Are. And then one that's had a Blu-ray release and it's been out on DVD. It's sex comedy Group Marriage, starring Claudia Jennings, late great Playboy playmate. And then the Abbott and Costello collection of Abbott and Costello Meet the Monsters. It's 4 of their horror comedies they did for Universal Pictures. They also did one where they meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but that's not in this one. It's got Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, Abbott and Costello Meet Oh yeah, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is in here. That's not the one I was thinking of, that's not in here. They got Meet Frankenstein, Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Meet the Invisible Man, and Meet the Mummy, but then there's another one called Abbott and Costello Meet the Killer, Boris Karloff, which isn't in this one. And another Sony Columbia Pictures DVD-R 60s comedy. 60s sex comedy, 4 singles only. Stars John Saxon, Marianne Mobley, Lana Wood, who's Natalie Wood's younger sister, and Mark Richmond, and then has a special guest appearance by Milton Berle. So 4 singles only. And then cult sex comedy. Linda Lovelace for president. She's the girl who was in the 70s porno film Deep Throat. But then she did this one non-porn film, and then she did Deep Throat Part 2, which wasn't really a porno, just another sex comedy. And then some more teen sex comedies. The DVD of the Hard Body collection, which is out of print. It's one that Anchor Bay put out. It's got Hard Bodies, and it's got Hard Bodies 2. And then some Roger Corman cult comedies, a 3-pack DVD set. We got Georgia Peaches, which was TV pilot, but it was shown in theaters overseas, so this has the widescreen European theatrical print, Follow That Car, and then it's got the theatrical drive-in sex comedy, The Great Texas Dynamite Chase with Claudia Jennings, and then a PG teen comedy, Smokey Bites the Dust. And that's Smokey Bites the Dust stars Jimmy McNichol from the movie Night Warning, aka Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. Oh, it's got Janet Julian, who was in Humongous, Ruby, and Gator Bait. So the Roger Corman's Cult Classics Triple Feature Action Pack Collection. And then another Roger Corman double feature, but only the first one's a comedy, Crazy Mama, starring Cloris Leachman, and then The Lady in Red's not a comedy. So I just pulled this one out for Crazy Mama. Then when I own on Blu-ray, Up the Creek. And this stars Stephen Furst from Animal House. Almost 23 minutes, so go through this last stack of comedies. We've got The Games Girls Play, 70s sex comedy, starring Christina Hart, The Stewardesses, and Helter Skelter. She did this comedy movie. Cult sex comedy. The Games Girls Play, and it's also called The Bunny Caper. And then it's a DVD-R sex comedy, college sex comedy, The Cheerleaders Beach Party. And it's made by Chuck Vincent, who started off making hardcore porn, but then he moved away from the hardcore porn and started doing R-rated comedies. So Cheerleaders Beach Party. And then horror comedy short I own. It's an all African-American cast, Midnight Menace. So it's a musical comedy horror flick with all African-Americans. And then a box that I own of like teen movies. These two of these are comedies. It's got Cheerleaders Beach Party in this one. And it's got the Guess What We Learned in School Today, which is very much sex comedy. Milk Creek's Top of the Class 12-pack. And then some I showed recently. The All-Nighter, starring Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles. And then 80s teen comedy, Weird Science. And then another teen sex comedy, Private School, starring Phoebe Cates. And it stars Betsy Russell and Matthew Modine. And then Private Lessons, starring Sylvia Christel. And then dark comedy, it's part murder mystery, Pretty Maids All in a Row, from Warner Archive. And then coming of age comedy, American Graffiti, special edition DVD. And then very erotic sex comedy, yeah, very sexed up comedy, The Cheerleaders. And then a horror comedy, Roger Corman's Saturday the 14th, and this is soon to be out on Blu-ray. And then another comedy, Funny Farm, starring Howie Mandel, and this is one from 1983. And then another 80s comedy, from Walt Disney Company, Midnight Madness. And then some Warner Brothers Homefront collection has trio of musical comedies, World War II musical comedies. It's a really nice version of the public domain musical comedy, Irving Berlin's This Is the Army, and then Thank Your Lucky Stars, and Hollywood Canteen. And this is the Army that stars a young Ronald Reagan long before he was president. He was a big Hollywood actor. So that's just some of my comedy movies I own. It's about all I could gather for this video, so I showed off Baba Yaga for part 4 of this DVD and Blu-ray update for January 2019. And then, as you can see, I had a few stacks of comedy movies on DVD, and then one Blu-ray, which I suddenly misplaced. Where did it go? I don't know where my Blu-ray went. I had one Blu-ray in here. Those are old DVDs. That's a DVD. DVDs, DVDs, DVDs. More DVDs and the Blu-ray of Up the Creek. So I hope you enjoyed me going through some of my comedy movies I own on DVD and Blu-ray. So I'm Tim, and thanks for watching.